What up, everybody in the YTVC? So, before I get started, just want to touch on a couple different things. First off, I want to give a big shout out to the boxing junkie. He was on the hashtag Come Back to Boxing radio broadcast on Wednesday, and he did a great job. Made some great points. If you haven't checked out the boxing junkie, you should definitely check out his channel. And he's a channel that I spotlighted a while back, and he's a great channel, great dude, great insight, and definitely has his own opinion and makes that opinion be heard, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. So big ups to him. Also, big shout out to MMA Boxing Talk. Thank you so much for your help and support with Twitter. And keep in mind, I'm still learning. I've never really been a big person who posts on social media other than YouTube, which is a bit different from like Facebook and Twitter and all that. So, but I do thank you so much for helping me out. And don't ever be afraid to ask me to, do anything on Twitter or anything like that. You're helping me out big time. So big shout out to MMA Boxing Talk. It's greatly appreciated. If you haven't checked out his channel, please go ahead and do so. Check him out as well. Another thing that I want to touch on before I get into the topic of the video is I want everybody who watches my videos to know that your opinion is always welcome here. All right? And the only thing that I ask of any of y'all is to be respectful. And that goes for when you see me commenting on other people's videos. If you want to debate me, if you want to rebuttal something in my opinion and you want to hash it out, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I understand not everybody sees things as I do. And that is fine. This world would be very boring if we all thought the same way. And if we all thought the same way, we'd all be sheep. But, there's nothing wrong with you having your own opinion. I just ask that you be respectful. As long as you're respectful to me, I'm going to be respectful to you. But if you think that you are going to come and make ridiculous accusations, ridiculous comments, and disrespect me, and for me not to come back at you, you got another thing coming. I'm not the type to just lay down. It's not in me to be like that. And trust me when I say, if you disrespect me, I'm going to come back at you 10 times as hard. That's just the way that it is. You're not going to just disrespect me and then not expect anything to come back at you. All right? Now, the reason why I'm even saying any of this is because in recent days, somebody has felt the need to call me a sellout, told me that I had a white boy dick in my mouth, and ultimately ended up threatening me. Now, the threats don't bother me. Empty threats don't bother me. And if you feel that you want to make good on your threats, all I gotta say is I'd like to see you try. All right? Because you want to threaten to tell me that I'm going to find myself in a trunk on my way to Tijuana Because trust me, if you do try to make good on your threat, I ain't sending you to Tijuana. And that, I'm gonna leave it at that. The rest is left up to interpretation. But I ain't sending you to Tijuana. I ain't sending you to Las Vegas. I ain't sending you where I'm sending you. Trust me. Just leave it up. It's left up to interpretation. But I do have the right to defend myself. So I ain't making threats. I'm just letting you know. I'm just giving you a fair warning that if you think you're going to try to make good on a threat on me, just because you disrespected me and thought I was going to lay down and take it, nah. Trust me. You'll be regretting it faster than you can say, stand your ground. Anyways, enough of that. That was my fair warning. So, the topic of the discussion today, topic of the video today, is actually about Floyd Mayweather. As usual, Floyd Mayweather is trying to be he wants to be the prettiest girl at the ball. He wants all eyes on him. And actually, before I get into that, I want to talk about the Broner situation a little bit. So, it seems like Adrian Broner is getting fed up with Floyd Mayweather. And he spoke out against Floyd Mayweather. And before I make this next statement, I just want to say, just keep in mind, I'm not saying that, that any of this is fact or anything. Everybody in the YTBC likes to play conspiracy theories from time to time. I'm going to do that right now. Keep in mind, this is just a theory. All right. And I'm not even sold on my own theory. This is just a possibility that came to mind. And I just think that it's kind of funny that the day after Adrian Broner speaks out against Floyd Mayweather, there's a warrant for his arrest. And then before the end of the day is over, I'm reading something about a lawsuit. And a lawsuit against Adrian Broner, to be exact. So and it's unrelated to my understanding. I just find it kind of weird that all this shit falls on Broner as soon as he speaks out against Floyd Mayweather. And I mean, I can't help but feel like there's something going on behind the scenes. I do believe that, that there's a higher power. I also believe that there is an evil presence in this world. And that evil presence has a group of people who control a lot of what goes on in the world. You can say that I'm a crazy kook or anything like that. That's fine. You have a right to your own opinion. But I do believe that. I do believe that, there is an elite group of people in this world who are influenced by the evil, and that they have a lot of power and can make things happen very quickly. So it's just my theory, and like I said, I'm thinking it's just a possibility. I'm not even saying that I necessarily believe in this theory, but I do think it's a possibility that, there's some stuff going on with this situation where there could be more happening behind the scenes that we don't know about. So, but, if Adrian Broner is, if all this stuff is legit, he just has to man up and accept whatever consequences there are and has to deal with it the best that he can. And I hope he can, because I do think he's talented. I just think that he does need to mature a bit. And that's just my opinion. But, I do think that it's not out of the realm of possibility that there's something more going on behind the scenes. So, now on to Mayweather. So, Mayweather, like I said, he's keeping himself relevant by, making all these statements. And what's really funny is that supposedly he told Gennady Golovkin that if he were to beat Andre Ward, that he would fight him. Now, the thing is, it's not a secret. Floyd Mayweather is retired. So, do you mean to tell me that if Triple G were to say, okay, we're not going to worry about Canelo, we're not going to worry about Saunders, we're not going to worry about Jacobs, we're not going to worry about anybody else, we're just going to fight Andre Ward, try to get that Floyd Mayweather fight, and he beats Andre Ward. I'm not saying that he beats him, I'm just saying, just humor me. Let's say they were to fight and he were to beat Andre Ward. Okay, do you mean to tell me that Floyd Mayweather is going to come out of retirement to fight him at 160? I find that hard to believe. I mean, I just do. I find that very hard to believe. I mean, he could prove me wrong, but then again, there's a lot of other things that have to happen before he can prove me wrong. So, fair is fair. But then, in an interview, he says that if he is going to come out of retirement, he's only looking at one name, which is Danny Garcia. So, here's the problem that I have with this. One, nobody wants to see that Garcia fight. Garcia's too slow. Yes, he has power, and yes, he has timing, but to be honest, that power really hasn't shown to come up with him at 147. So that statement isn't even completely true, at least from what we've seen so far in the two fights that he's had at 147. So, that's number one. Number two is, how are you going to make promises that if Triple G beats Andre Ward, that you'll fight him, but yet you're going to say the only name I'm looking at if I come out of retirement is Danny Garcia? Do you not see where the contradiction lies in those statements? And I don't know. I honestly think that he's not coming back. And I hope that I'm right. I really do. There's no reason for him to come back. All right. Anything that he had to prove, he would have done so already. There's not really much he could do at this time. Beating Danny Garcia is not going to cement his legacy any more than it already is. Beating a paper champ who beat Robert Guerrero in a fight that Floyd Mayweather himself said was a draw, that's not going to further his legacy any more than it is already. And I will say, if he were to fight Triple G at 160 and win with no ridiculous rules like he likes to throw in there to give himself the edge, if he were to do that, then that would cement his legacy more. But I will say this, I actually rather that he doesn't fight Triple G. I'd rather that he just stays retired. There's nothing more that I want to see from Floyd Mayweather, really. The only thing I want to see from Floyd Mayweather is promoting some good fights. That's what I want to see. I don't give a damn about the Tiger Cub on Instagram. I don't care about how many cars you're buying right now. I don't care about any of that shit. You're a promoter now. Just put on some good fights. That's what I want to see. You're damn near 40 years old. Even if somebody were to beat you at this time, we can't give them full credit because of how old you are. There's not really much more that you can offer the sport other than putting on quality fights under your promotional name. I give the devil his due, okay? There ain't nobody today who is fucking with Floyd Mayweather at his prime at their respected weight classes. Okay? So, I'm talking about, when he fought Diego Corrales around there. Ain't nobody in one, in those weight classes that are fucking with him in his prime. That includes Terrence Crawford. That includes anybody at those weight classes. Okay, they're just not fucking with him. And as for fighting him right now, it's like I said, if somebody were to beat him, they would go down in history as the one who beat Floyd Mayweather. But we all would know he was past his prime. He's hurt his hands. There's just too much there where we can't give whoever that person would be, the full credit as if he was in his prime. So, but I don't know, Floyd Mayweather, I did have to give it to him. He's a genius at keeping people talking about him and how he'll make these bold statements that contradict each other. And yes, bold statements that contradict each other. He said that black fighters don't get the opportunities, the same opportunities as everybody else, and that they're downplayed and all this stuff. Even though he's the highest paid athlete in history. Even though when he went up against a non-black fighter, he got way more money than them. He always got the lion's share. So I don't see how he can say that black fighters don't get the same opportunities and that they're not treated as equals. But then turns around and says that nothing happens in the sport without him and Al Heyman giving the okay on it. That's a contradiction. Then goes on to say that he'll give Triple G a fight if he beats Andre Ward, but then says he's only coming out of a retirement to fight Danny Garcia. The 3 G's in Triple G don't stand for Garcia. I know that much. So, I mean, and people will defend his statements. They'll say, they'll give him credit for beating fighters that he hasn't fought, that he has no intentions of fighting. And this is the reason why I don't like to talk about him. Because there's just too many people who let their emotions get involved and they speak really irrationally. And don't get me wrong, I've come across Floyd fans that are rational. And I respect them and I thank them for their input, because the truth be told, I enjoy boxing dialogue. But the ones who are most vocal are the irrational ones. And all they want to do is regurgitate the shit that he says. So, but it's like I said, he's keeping himself relevant. He wants everybody talking about him. He doesn't want to give credit to anybody else, and don't tell me that he does, because they asked him, who do you think is the next star? And he can't give an answer to that. He doesn't want to give an answer to that. And for what it's worth, to me, the next pay-per-view star, I'm not talking about skill, I'm not talking about, the best defensive fighter now that he's gone. I'm not talking about the best offensive fighter. I'm not talking about, the universal soldier of boxing. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about, if you want to talk about the next star, it appears to be Anthony Joshua. To sell as many pay-per-view buys as he did, 400,000 in his very first pay-per-view, in his 15th fight, and to sell out the O2 Arena in 90 seconds, he's looking to be the next pay-per-view star. It remains to be seen. But the heavyweight division's coming back. If there is an undisputed champion in the heavyweight division, they are going to become the face of boxing. With the momentum that the division is having, and the fact that these are the guys who are giving us the fights we want to see. Because really, to be honest, almost all the other divisions are at a stalemate. They're all stagnant. Nobody wants to make a move. So, there's interesting fightings going on here and there, but ultimately, the fights that we really want to see are not happening in the lower divisions. But the heavyweight division, we already got Anthony Joshua fighting Charles Martin, which is going to tell us a lot about both of them. And then Anthony Joshua, and I had to apologize, I could not find the link. I remember reading the article, but I couldn't find the link. He did say that he would like to fight David Haye after getting past Martin. So he's already planning another fight that would be huge. And it would be ginormous in the UK. First off, I would love to see that fight. And I'm not in the UK, but I know they fight in the UK. That's going to be huge. And that's going to do humongous pay-per-view buys. So, it's just, Floyd Mayweather needs to let his ego go. He needs to understand that he made a decision to retire. I think it was the right decision. But with retiring, you're going to lose that. Your pound for pound status. You can't retire and keep your pound for pound status. You're not fighting anymore. Why are you going to hold that position if nobody can challenge you for it? You have to realize that people are going to move on. Even the great Floyd Mayweather, people will move on from you. Because nobody beats Father Time. Not even you. No matter how much money you have. No matter how much money you made in one night, as you like to say. When everything is all said and done, when you retire, people will remember you, but they are going to move on and have a new favorite fighter. You'll always have a place in their heart. Just ask Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali. and all these other fighters that you like to shit on. Because the fact of the matter is, you're in the same boat as they are. You're retired. You're known for being a great fighter. But now, we want to look at the current talent. And that's just the way it is. So anyways, this is probably the longest video I've ever done. I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Do you think that he's just trying to keep himself relevant? Do you think that, do you agree with me? Because keep in mind, that's just my opinion. Is your opinion the same as mine? Do you think that he needs to just try to better the sport by promoting quality fights? Or do you disagree? Do you think that he does have more to offer the sport of boxing as a fighter? I'm open to hear what you have to say, and I'm not going to criticize you. I may not disagree, or I may not agree with what you say, but you have the right to your own opinion. And just keep in mind, if you're respectful to me, I'll be respectful to you. So anyways, to all my subscribers, everybody who watches my videos, and anybody who just so happens to stumble upon this video, just want y'all to know I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.